Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. Please like, subscribe, and make sure you leave that donation for that fried rice and chicken wings. Claressa. I don't even know what to say. She had an opportunity to hit a grand slam, didn't she? But she's once again at the center of controversy after reports surfaced that she allegedly missed fight events involving fighters connected to her promotional efforts. And I'll be honest with you, I've been scouring the internet trying to find images of her at the fight this Saturday. And I just can't find them. So I would tend to believe that everything that I'm being told is true. She ducked the event where she was involved with the promotion and went to spend time in New York partying with Papoose. Now, for me and a lot of observers, we believe this was a major missed opportunity for Claressa to try reshaping the public perception and show the boxing world a more mature, professional side of herself as a promoter and a businesswoman. Because when we all heard that she was involved with promoting, okay, now we had heard that she had her own promotional company, but it's like, okay, here we go. She's going to be out there. We expected her to support her fighters, networking with the media, conducting interviews professionally, trying to build relationships and proving she can lead outside of the ring, and that everything we're seeing on social media, maybe it's just being done in an effort to just get views and clicks. But instead, she gave us more content gold, and our critics say her absence only reinforced growing concerns about professionalism, priorities, leadership, and business reliability, and that everything we're seeing on social media is who she truly is. Now, my thing is, when you have such a huge opportunity, you got to seize the moment, man. And many observers felt this was one of the most important moments of her career outside the ring. This could have been the moment where there were people who, if there were people who were watching her and saying, "No, we can't touch her, man. She has too much going on." That maybe they were like, "Okay, hold on. Let's see how she handles this." That this may create an opportunity here for us to say, okay, she does have some of those characteristics we look for. And aside from all the drama she has going on, maybe there's a way we can kind of come together and work on some things. But that's not what happened. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, what was going on this weekend had nothing to do with a championship fight. People wanted to see whether she could evolve publicly into a leader, businesswoman, promoter, possibly a mentor. Because these are the people underneath her that she's promoting. Now, I know for a fact there were people who wanted to see something different. We all know for a long, long time, many conversations surrounding Claressa have centered around the online drama, arguments, viral interviews, emotional reactions, and controversy. So this promotional opportunity mattered. Fans and critics alike were curious. Could Claressa finally shift the narrative? They were sitting back paying attention. They had the popcorn and had fastened the seatbelts. But we didn't get a chance because it's like, okay, can she show professionalism? Can she show maturity? Leadership structure? As a promoter, is she going to show accountability? That's what people expected to see. Observers expected Claressa to be highly visible at this event. They expected to see her moving around or up right there close to the ring, just ringside watching the action, cheering her fighters on, and not just physically present, but I mean actively involved. I mean, if you're a promoter at an event and you have fighters there, you're expected to promote your fighters. You know what I'm saying? Even I was out here like, okay, is she going to walk fighters to interviews? Is she going to advocate for them? Is she going to introduce them to the media? Is she going to speak positively about their futures? Tell us a little bit about them, how they got to this point, talk about the things they've accomplished, and if they win, get in the ring and speak about what's going to be next for them. We just expected her to do what promoters do. A promoter is not just someone who signs paperwork. Promoter's supposed to build confidence, create opportunities, market talent, attract attention, and make fighters feel supported. So I think this was a real opportunity for her to try and change the public's perception. Even if you just got people for that day to say, okay, wow, good job. She did a good job. That's a win and a step in the right direction. Because I'm telling you, when I listen to the people, they genuinely wanted to see if she could be a softer, more focused, more professional version of Claressa. They're like, okay, maybe she's learned from just with her team or looking at people on the outside and what they're doing, and maybe she's going to show some evolution, some growth, discipline. As a promoter with people who are trusting her to lead their careers, she's going to show some leadership qualities, especially because the public image surrounding her has been extremely chaotic. But instead, not the case. Reports say she was in New York partying with Papoose, just chilling. She was at a reggae concert. And see, this is where shit gets frustrating. Because you listen to the reports in the public chatter, Claressa allegedly chose personal enjoyment over professional responsibilities. And that right there is a real thorn in the side when it comes to somebody like me. And many observers, that sends a dangerous message. Your fighters needed you. Critics argue those fighters were depending on her visibility and support. Some fans are saying, well, if she'd do that to her fighters, she would do it to a child. I'm like, God damn, how we get there? I mean, we're talking about her as a promoter and fighters. Y'all already talking about how she would leave the children? Boy, oh boy. But this is what happens when you make these choices and people are sitting there watching you. You're giving people something to talk about, and the conversation goes left. But my thing is, what about the younger fighters? What about those who are kind of new to this and trying to establish themselves? They pay attention to who shows up for them. They notice everything. And boxing's already unforgiving when it comes to business, emotionally and financially. It's rough. So the psychology of prioritizing personal gratification, I think this has sparked a much larger conversation, because what does it psychologically say about someone when they prioritize personal pleasure over professional obligations? That, to me, is crazy. Short-term satisfaction versus the long-term vision. Many successful business people will tell you, delay the gratification. You know why? Because they understand. Sometimes you sacrifice all the fun, all the comfort, the convenience, parties, vacations, emotions for long-term credibility and success. I agree with that. I understand that, but I also know you can't expect everybody to commit to those kind of sacrifices and live their life a kind of way. It takes a while to grow into that. But critics believe this whole situation appeared backwards, man, and it just sends a crazy message to the fighters that she promoted. could signal, yo, you're not the priority. Sorry. And to sponsors, it may signal this person may not take commitment seriously. We were interested in maybe doing something for her, for the guys that she promotes, or maybe as a promoter, maybe trying to do something with her as a promoter. So now that door's closed. And trust me, most of them doors have been closed as a result of the Layla Ali beef. And to business partners, it may signal, yo, can we even rely on this individual? And when it comes to the media, they're saying she's not fully invested. And that's how I feel. Because I was really expecting her to be there and, you know, a business suit and parading around and talking and promoting fighters and, you know, doing for her fighters what Demetrius Salita has done to her, what Eddie Hearn does for his fighters. What promoters do, man. You see, professional reliability matters so much in business. People study patterns, man. They study patterns, they pay attention, and they determine whether they want to work with somebody or not, man. One moment may be forgiven, but repeated patterns create reputations. She doesn't have the best reputation right now when it comes to anything. As a promoter, this was something totally different, and she's kind of ruined that reputation already. You see, reputation closes or opens doors, and observers say this is where many athletes struggle. Talent opens doors initially. That's what Claressa had, the talent that opened a lot of doors. She wasn't reliable, so she didn't keep them open. People want to work with dependable people, emotionally stable people, organized people, people who honor commitments. And I think as a result of the decision she made this weekend, right, I think some fighters may reconsider working with her. You know, fighters are watching carefully. They want to be up and away with their careers. They want to be able to trust that someone's really has their best interest in mind, not have their own interests as a priority over the people whose interests you're supposed to make their priority. You gotta, anything you want to do for yourself when you're a promoter, you gotta put some of that on the back burner. You gotta sacrifice some of your own happiness. You know, you gotta show up, advocate for them, sacrifice for them, prioritize. But whatever your priorities are for you personally, you gotta sacrifice that shit. Fighters need promoters who understand this. I mean, they already feel vulnerable in boxing. She should understand that. Look at kind of how her career has gone and what she's going through right now. She should definitely understand the importance of being there for fighters, especially on fight night. I just think with a lot of these fighters, if they sense their promoters distracted, emotionally consumed elsewhere, or inconsistent, they may quietly distance themselves. Because just think about what I just mentioned. Being distracted, emotionally consumed elsewhere, inconsistent, that perfectly describes Claressa Shields. So I wouldn't be surprised if her fighters were to distance themselves. I also wouldn't be surprised if they ended up in some kind of contract with her, kind of like what she could be in with Win Records. I also wouldn't be surprised if she really isn't a promoter. This is just a way for them to try to help her image and and her brand by trying to convince people that she's some kind of promoter. And when in actuality she may not be. It just may be her name on things, but she's not doing anything at all. So they don't need her anyway. They probably don't want her there. But that's a whole nother conversation. But the bottom line is trust is everything. In boxing, shit, trust is currency. Fighters trust promoters with careers, with their opportunities, finances, with their exposure and their matchmaking. Once trust weakens, relationships weaken fast. But again, the whole thing could be all smoke and mirrors. I listen to the critics. I listen to what people are saying. They question whether the promoter role was more image than substance. Even I kind of think that. What promoter have you seen have an event and just not show up? They have some fighters there, they're normally there. in the crowd, they may be in the bushes, but they're in attendance. You just decide not to attend. That's why I think that promoter role may be just more image than substance. But again, you got to trust what they're saying. I can't verify anything, but it creates an argument nevertheless. If someone truly wants to build a promotional company, they usually become obsessed with scouting talent, supporting fighters, networking, attending events, building relationships. So critics say absence creates doubt. And I understand, I agree with the critics. You know, you got to question, was this just for image? Some of the observers are speculating the promoter branding may have been used to improve public perception. And it worked. It did work. It got us talking about something different for a moment, but now we're back to square one. You see what I'm saying? Because we're like, but when real responsibilities appeared here for Claressa, we were like, okay, is she going to hit a grand slam or what? It seemed like the effort allegedly disappeared too. She had some real responsibilities in front of her for us to see how she was going to handle. But the effort just disappeared. So whether fair or unfair, this is now part of the public discussion. Claressa is content gold. Now this whole thing with Papoose, the Papoose factor. We already know, it seems, you know, wherever he's at, she wants to be there. They are dating. Most people don't agree with the relationship. But at this point in time, they're dating. So she wants to be where he's at. But that Papoose factor. This is why I say this whole thing about her being a promoter may just be more image. You know what I'm saying? Because that relationship has overshadowed boxing. The relationship drama has overshadowed boxing. And now here it is again, the constant public association with Papoose and wanting to be wherever he's at. If she was really promoting that event, that pulled her away from the event and has people out here criticizing her. But it just could be a whole nother issue where she wants the attention, enjoys the attention, and really doesn't understand how this has become an attention versus credibility situation. She doesn't have any credibility when it comes to being a promoter. The opportunity, man, to establish some credibility and to even get the detractors to come out and say something positive, she threw it away just to be up there at some goddamn dancehall concert. She want to be up in there, man, you know, lighter, you know, she want to be up in there breezing. But I'm going to tell you this, like I say in a lot of my videos, attention doesn't always equal respect. Some people trend constantly online. That means nothing. Not always for the reasons that build legacy, respect, trust, opportunity. Trending for all the wrong things. And that's why some people say, oh, you know what, Hood, this is probably what's happening right here. Because do you know what she could have gained by showing up? It's like, yeah, I know. Had she attended, the entire conversation would have changed big time. Just imagine Claressa with the media praising her professionalism. You get fighters to come out there and thank her publicly. Positive clips going viral everywhere. Networking moments seized and sponsorship conversations arise again. I mean, this could have been a reputation building moment. It wouldn't have resolved all the chaos and destruction she's caused, but it would have got the conversation going in the right direction, I would think. I mean, I do know this, there were people waiting to praise her. And ironically, many observers say people actually wanted to compliment her this time. They wanted to say, okay, we don't agree with this, we don't agree with everything else, but this is something that we're seeing some growth. You know, and that's what it is. They're waiting to see the growth. But because, you know, it sounds like she wasn't there, the opportunity just vanished. It's gone. Can't get it back. She's made her situation worse than it was before. I didn't do that. You didn't do that. She did that. So the criticism surrounding this situation, you know, it's not just about missing an event. It's about what people believe the absence represents. And I'll be honest with you, that shit is crazy to me. You know, you have a commitment, man, to your fighters. Show up, support them. Once the event is over, if you want to fly out, fly out. But I know it's Mother's Day weekend and all that. I'm going to tell you, I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it. But hey, maybe she feels some kind of closeness to the family up there. Maybe she go to New York, she feel at home. Maybe that was something they had already planned to do months out, long before the fight card was being discussed in Atlanta. And she was like, look, on this weekend, and maybe her team was like, all right, look, well, you're leaving out Saturday for the event on Saturday. Friday, come out here, do a couple interviews. I did see her do a couple interviews. Come on out here, do a little promoting on Friday or whatever, or during the week, and on Saturday, you know, you just bounce, and we got it. I mean, maybe that's what happened. I could be wrong. But again, I just think the criticism surrounding the situation is not just about missing the event. I think it's about what people believe the absence represents, man. Misplaced priorities, lack of professionalism, inconsistency, and emotional decision making. And I'm telling you right now, in boxing, those perceptions can become very, very costly. Because eventually, people stop asking, how talented are you? And they start asking, can we trust you with responsibility? And right now, when I look at this, I don't think many people feel that she can be trusted with responsibility. And her fighters, they may not say it to her, but amongst each other, they're probably having that conversation like, damn, she ain't even, you know, stay here and support us. Anyway, we'll see what the future holds. Party over business. Fans are questioning Claressa Shields' priorities, and I totally understand. She was like, man, please, these fights can wait. Y'all keep cool, I'm in the breeze.